This morning, Donald Trump said out here on CNN that he cherishes women, but it was pretty clear on Thursday's debate and subsequent interviews that he does not like answering questions about the comments he makes about them. When Megyn Kelly challenged him about calling specific women in the past fat pigs and other kind of nasty words and languages, well, it left Trump fuming, and fuming at Megyn Kelly and at Fox News. It's left many people wondering if Donald Trump, to be frank, has a woman problem, if he's sexist in some way, and what his attitude is around women. People are even asking if it'll be his campaign's downfall. So let's hear from two women who I think support Trump. I want to know what they've experienced with him because they used to be stars on The Apprentice. Joining me from Miami, first season Apprentice contestant and Trump International Realty employee Katrina Campins, and from Los Angeles, a three-time Apprentice contestant Omarosa Manigault. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks for having us.
I think you all were roommates in season 1, is that right?
We were. We
go way back, Omarosa and I.
And Omarosa, I heard you on cable news here this weekend saying you think Trump did a great job at the debate. Just speaking bluntly here, does he have a woman problem?
Brian, first of all, Donald Trump does not have a woman problem. I think this is equivalent to going through somebody's trash and cherry picking the things that you think will bring down his campaign. Going through comments that Donald Trump has made in the last 30 years, it's just the lowest form of journalism. Yeah, he said things off the cuff, but to take them and use them and try to apply them to all women. Just because he doesn't like Rosie O'Donnell doesn't mean that he hates all women. I think it's ridiculous to paint with such a broad brush. He does not have a woman problem.
Was Megyn Kelly's question fair on Thursday then?
Look, it's so clear to me that Megyn Kelly has a bone to pick with Donald Trump. Everybody saw it. They're calling it hardcore journalism. I call it very, very personal. And Donald Trump is really good about reading people's intentions. And her intentions was not to give him a fair chance of showing where he stands on women's issues. If he wanted to know where he stood on, or where Donald Trump stood on women's issues, he would ask about reproductive health. He would ask about how to make the minimum wage work for women who are in the workplace. But asking about his comments about Rosie O'Donnell did not give him an opportunity to show where he stands on real issues that affect women.
Katrina, you work for one of Trump's companies now. Have you ever heard Trump talk in a way about women that's made you uncomfortable?
Well, I have to say that I have a great working relationship with Trump until this day, for over a decade, and with Trump and with his children. And I say first and foremost, it's important to note that I think that he has great potential to really reform the political corruption that we have in our system now because he's independent from lobbyists and special interest groups. So because of that, I think he's struck a chord with so many Americans. As far as his comments about Rosie O'Donnell, I mean, that feud goes so far back. And when he commented on Rosie O'Donnell, let's not forget that he was an entertainer. He was on reality television. But as a woman who still works with him today, I don't think Donald Trump has a problem with women, as Omarosa stated. And I think that it's petty. And I think that focusing on this is really losing sight of so many of the other important issues that we should be discussing, like health care and immigration and other things that are more important to the American people.
That's fair, but I do wonder if Trump sets himself up for this sort of thing by making comments like he made to Don Lemon on Friday night. I know he didn't refer to Megyn Kelly's period directly, but by saying wherever, it sure set him up, I think. Omarosa, don't you think he puts his foot in his mouth sort of and damages his own campaign at moments like that?
Brian, let's reflect over what's really happened this week. He was uninvited to an event that I thought, basically, I thought Eric made a big mistake. Donald Trump pulled 24 million viewers to a debate, and you uninvite him to an event. It's ridiculous. And he's dominating the headlines. Regardless of what he said and how he said it, you all are talking about him this morning, and in my book, that's a win.
That's a win, says Omarosa.
And another thing, to that... you know what, to that point, I think something else that's interesting is he's getting a lot of grief in the media for raising his hand. And as a Republican, of course, you don't want to hear that.
Saying he might run
as
an independent
run would absolutely be detrimental. Correct. And that would absolutely be detrimental to the Republican Party. But then I found out after the fact that allegedly 3 of the Republican candidates threatened to boycott the debate if Trump were involved. Now, what would your reaction be? So it makes sense in content now looking back to why he had that stance, if that is indeed true.
Katrina, Omarosa, thank you both for sharing your point of view with us this morning.
Thanks, Brian.